They used to be massive floating fortresses, powerful, intimidating, and packed with warplanes. But now everything has changed. Fueled by a staggering $13 billion, the United States successfully launched a next-generation aircraft carrier designed to dominate the seas like never before. How fast can it launch jets? What hidden tech makes it formidable? Join us as we explore the reasons why this United States $13 billion aircraft carrier has shocked the world. The USS Nimitz was formidable in its own sense. It was a powerful and proven aircraft carrier with decades of service, but the US Navy wanted something different. They didn't just want to build another regular aircraft carrier. They wanted to create something that would rule the seas, and they went all out for that. After years of hard work and pouring in $13 billion, the newest American aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, was officially commissioned on July 22, 2017. But the real moment of truth came years later when it finally set sail for its first operational deployment on October 4, 2022. The moment was a big deal. Thousands of sailors, engineers, and military officials followed its first journey closely, and for a good reason. With its advanced systems and futuristic design, the USS Gerald R. Ford is more than a warship. It's a floating showcase of what modern military power looks like. People were also eager to see the result of a $13 billion investment. Designing a brand new type of aircraft carrier means people expect something truly powerful and advanced. That's exactly what the USS Ford delivers. It is a floating masterpiece packed with the latest technology and brilliant engineering. Everything about this ship screams next level, from how it was built to how it performs at sea. What made the USS Ford stand out right away is how it was designed. It wasn't just a ship drawn on paper with old blueprints. It's actually the first ship ever created entirely using three-dimensional modeling. This means every part of the ship, from its massive deck to the tiniest bolt, was carefully crafted in a digital space before anything was physically built. This smart use of technology helped reduce mistakes, saved time, and made the ship more efficient to put together. But the USS Ford isn't just impressive because of how it was designed. It's what's inside that really turns heads. Deep within the ship is its own nuclear power plant that produces so much energy that enables the ship to reach speeds of about 30 knots. That's around 35 miles per hour or 56 kilometers per hour, which is extremely fast for a huge ship like this. Thanks to this nuclear power, the USS Ford doesn't have to stop for fuel like most other ships. Instead, it can sail for a long time, anywhere from 20 to 25 years, without ever needing to refuel. That's 2.5 decades of nonstop operation, which means the Navy can rely on it to stay at sea, carry out missions, and remain ready for action without constant pit stops. The power does not just help the ship move, it also powers the ship's advanced systems, weapons, and technology. The USS Ford is built to be fully self-sufficient, which means it can operate on its own for long periods, keeping the crew safe, secure, and ready for anything. Everything from launching aircraft to defending against attacks is handled with precision and speed. To make things even better, this ship was designed with the future in mind. Because it uses the latest digital designs and has so much onboard power, it's much easier to upgrade. As new technologies and weapons are developed, the USS Ford can be updated without having to go back to the drawing board. This makes it a ship that's built not just for today's battles, but for tomorrow's challenges as well. The USS Ford is powered by two powerful A-1B reactor plants. The name A-1B actually stands for something specific. A stands for aircraft carrier, 1 means it's the first generation design of its kind, and B stands for Bechtel, the company that created it. Bechtel is well known in the United States for building and designing nuclear power plants, and they were chosen to design these advanced reactors just for this new class of supercarrier. These A-1B reactors are a big step forward compared to what came before. Older aircraft carriers like those in the Nimitz class use A-4W reactors. While those were powerful for their time, the A-1B takes things to a whole new level. In fact, each A-1B reactor can generate nearly 3 times more power than the older models. That means the USS Ford has a huge boost in energy available to power everything on board, from launching aircraft to advanced radar systems and future weapons. The exact amount of power these new reactors produce is still a secret, as it's considered classified information. However, experts believe the increase in energy output is around 700 megawatts. That's an enormous amount of power, enough to run a small city. This kind of energy gives the USS Ford incredible flexibility and strength. It not only helps move the ship at high speeds, but also supports the most advanced technology the Navy has ever used on a warship. What makes this even more impressive is that this energy increase comes with greater efficiency. The new reactors are designed to need less maintenance and fewer crew members to operate. That means the ship can run longer, with fewer interruptions, and with lower costs over time. The United States Navy had been working on a better way to launch aircraft from aircraft carriers. For many decades, they used steam-powered catapults. These systems used powerful bursts of steam to launch planes into the sky. But while steam catapults were effective, they had some serious drawbacks, like needing a separate steam boiler, causing stress on the ship's structure, and requiring a lot of maintenance. To solve these problems, engineers came up with something new: the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, or EMALS for short. Instead of using steam, this system uses electromagnets and a linear induction motor to launch planes. It works kind of like a high-tech slingshot, using magnets and electric force to smoothly accelerate a jet down the deck. There are three big reasons why the Navy made the switch from steam to electromagnetic systems. First, EMALS eliminates the need for a bulky and complex steam boiler, which saves space and makes the ship lighter. Second, EMALS gives the crew much more control during a launch. With this technology, operators can adjust the power and acceleration for different types of aircraft, whether it's a fighter jet or a small drone. Third, EMALS reduces the amount of maintenance needed. It uses solid-state electrical parts, which are more durable and reliable, and it causes less wear and tear on both the ship and the equipment during each launch. One of the most important improvements EMALS brings is smoother acceleration. Steam catapults blast planes off the deck with a sudden, forceful jolt. That can damage the aircraft over time and also stress the carrier's structure. EMALS, on the other hand, gives a more even push, allowing the plane to take off in a steadier, safer motion. This lower stress launch means less damage and longer life for expensive planes and drones. Interestingly, while EMALS is clearly a leap forward in technology, there are still debates about whether it's truly more reliable than steam catapults. Steam systems have been used since the time of World War II, replacing even older hydraulic launch systems. They've been tested for decades and are known for working well under pressure. EMALS, although promising, is still relatively new, and there isn't enough data yet to fully compare its performance with the older steam systems. Still, the successful early tests of EMALS show great promise. The picture taken after one of the first working launches shows just how far technology has come. The Navy hopes that with time and more use, EMALS will prove to be not just more advanced, but also safer, easier to maintain, and more reliable than any launch system that came before. The USS Ford brings a bold new look and feel to the design of aircraft carriers, starting with its massive 5-acre flight deck. That's 5 full football fields of space at sea, dedicated to air operations. But it's not just the size that makes it impressive, it's how that space is used. One of the most noticeable changes is the placement of the ship's island, the tall control tower located on the flight deck. On the USS Ford, the island is smaller and has been moved farther toward the back of the ship. This clever redesign opens up more space on the deck, especially in the central and forward areas. With this extra room, more planes can be parked, moved, and maintained, improving flight operations and reducing wait times between takeoffs and landings. Another major upgrade is the way weapons are moved around the ship. Just like the new electromagnetic aircraft launch system, the weapons elevators on the USS Ford now use electromagnetic fields instead of cables and pulleys. These elevators lift weapons from storage areas deep inside the ship up to the flight deck. Instead of swinging open like doors in older carriers, the new ones have smooth, horizontal sliding doors. This design not only saves space, but also reduces the number of crew members needed to operate them and lowers maintenance demands. Over time, that means less wear, fewer repairs, and more money saved. What makes the USS Ford even more impressive is how flexible its design is. the ship's internal structure can be easily changed by reconfiguring different compartments. That means the ship can quickly adjust to different types of missions without requiring major redesigns. For example, if a future mission requires more space for drones or new aircraft types, the ship can be adapted with minimal effort. This saves both time and money and avoids the kind of expensive overhauls that often slow down the older Nimitz-class carriers. The ship also includes new advanced arresting gear. This is the system that stops aircraft when they land on the deck. The arresting gear on the USS Ford is lighter than the old system and is controlled by advanced software. It's easier to maintain and doesn't need as many people to operate. This makes landings safer, more efficient, and less stressful for both planes and crews. On top of all that, the USS Ford is fitted with multi-function radar and volume search radar. This high-tech radar setup combines two different radar systems working together. One is for scanning the skies and tracking incoming aircraft or missiles, while the other handles target illumination and missile guidance. By combining these systems, the ship can detect threats faster and respond more effectively, keeping both the ship and its aircraft safe during complex missions. All these upgrades work together to make the USS Ford a smarter, faster, and more efficient ship. It's not just about power, it's about using space, energy, and technology in the best possible way. From its flexible compartments to its cutting-edge arresting gear and radar systems, every part of the flight deck redesign shows just how much naval engineering has evolved. This new generation of aircraft carriers is built for the future, and the USS Ford is leading the way. The USS Ford is a true 21st century marvel of design and engineering. Unlike older aircraft carriers that were simply improved over time, the USS Ford gave engineers the rare opportunity to start fresh and rethink everything. This freedom allowed them to add exciting new features while removing older, less efficient systems. The result is a ship that's smarter, faster, and easier to maintain. One of the biggest changes is the removal of the traditional steam catapult system, along with all the extra steam-powered machinery that came with it. This alone helps simplify the ship's design and reduce energy waste. But that's just the beginning. Engineers also optimized many components throughout the carrier. They were able to eliminate around half of the valves used in older designs, remove 70 sea chests, hollow spaces in the hull that manage water intake, and cut out one aircraft elevator and one entire hangar bay without affecting performance. Another big improvement is the dry docking interval. The USS Ford only needs to go into dry dock once every 12 years, which means more time at sea and fewer interruptions for maintenance. Even everyday comfort and cleanliness have been improved. The ship's air conditioning system now blasts an incredible total of 9,900 tons of cooling power through the ship. This helps reduce dust, moisture, and dirt in every area, improving both the equipment's lifespan and the crew's comfort. Steam heating has also been replaced. Instead of bulky steam pipes running across the ship like in older carriers, the USS Ford uses electric water heaters. This change not only saves space, but also makes repairs and maintenance much simpler. Lighting also got an upgrade. All the ship's battle lanterns now use LED bulbs, which last longer and make each battery last much more efficiently. In addition, the ship uses 44,000 T8 fluorescent bulbs, which last twice as long as the older bulbs used on Nimitz-class carriers. Cargo transport inside the ship was redesigned too. Instead of using old conveyor systems, the USS Ford now has cargo elevators. These elevators allow sailors to move heavy pallets of materials directly to where they are needed, cutting out the extra steps of unloading and shifting items around. This makes supply runs smoother and saves valuable time during busy operations. Building the USS Ford was no small task. The materials used are staggering. It took more than 4 million pounds of weld metal, 4 million feet of fiber optic cable, and 200,000 gallons of gray paint to bring this supercarrier to life. Inside, the ship is built to support its crew in every way. Every single day, it produces 400,000 gallons of fresh water and serves up 15,000 meals. From its systems and structure to the food on the tables, everything about the USS Ford has been carefully designed for maximum efficiency, durability, and performance. It's not just a warship, it's a floating city built for the future. The USS Ford is more than just a floating runway for warplanes. It's a powerful fortress at sea, packed with cutting-edge weapons designed to defend against modern threats. Along with carrying over 75 aircraft, the USS Ford is loaded with some of the most advanced defensive and offensive systems ever built into a warship. Engineers and designers carefully selected and integrated three major weapon systems: the Evolved Sea Sparrow missile, the Rolling Airframe missile, and the Mark 15 Phalanx close-in weapon system. Each plays a vital role in keeping the ship safe during combat. There is also the Evolved Sea Sparrow missile. These missiles are built to take down enemy threats with speed and precision. The ESSM is specially designed to target fast-moving objects like enemy aircraft and incoming missiles. What makes it even more impressive is that 4 of these missiles can fit into one cell of the Mark 41 vertical launch system, a launcher built into the deck of the ship. These missiles can lock onto and destroy complex targets such as supersonic, maneuvering anti-ship missiles before they get close to the carrier. It's a powerful first layer of defense, helping to keep both the ship and its crew safe from long-range attacks. But what happens when threats slip past that first line of defense and come in fast? That's where the next missile system steps in. The RAM, or Rolling Airframe missile, is a smaller, surface-to-air missile. But don't let its size fool you. It gets its name from the way it spins around its own axis, just like a bullet fired from a rifled gun barrel. This spiral movement helps it stay stable and on target while flying at extremely high speeds. The RAM travels at nearly twice the speed of sound, Mach 2, and has a range of about 5.5 miles. It carries a warhead that weighs 25 pounds, designed to explode near the target and cause serious damage. Each missile costs about $1 million to build, and it's worth every cent when it comes to protecting the ship from high-speed threats. Then there is the Mk-15 Phalanx close-in weapon system. When all else fails, the USS Ford has one final line of defense: the Phalanx. This fully automated system features a radar-guided 20mm Vulcan cannon. It's designed to shoot down missiles and aircraft that have made it past the outer defense layers. This cannon fires armor-piercing tungsten rounds at an incredible rate of 4,500 bullets per minute. The rounds are meant to shred through the airframe of an incoming missile, making it tumble out of control. This not only destroys the threat, but also reduces the risk of a large explosion near the ship, keeping the crew and the vessel safer from collateral damage. For all these reasons, the USS Gerald R. Ford undeniably stands out as the most advanced and largest aircraft carrier in the world. Unlike older carriers like the USS Nimitz, the use of electromagnetic catapults instead of steam, need for fewer crew members due to more automation, and its nuclear power, which allows it to operate for over 20 years without refueling, has made it truly impressive. While other nations like China's Fujian and Britain's HMS Queen Elizabeth are impressive, the Ford leads in tech, speed, and overall strike capability. The United States has deployed its most powerful naval asset to the frozen waters surrounding Greenland. The USS Gerald R. Ford, a $13 billion technological marvel and the world's most advanced aircraft carrier, has arrived in Greenlandic waters amid President Donald Trump's aggressive campaign to acquire the massive Arctic island. This deployment has sent shockwaves through Moscow, where Russian officials are watching with alarm as American military power projects deep into what they consider their strategic backyard. What does this deployment mean for Russia's Arctic dominance? And how is Moscow responding to this unprecedented show of American naval power in the high north? Join us as we explore how the arrival of the U.S. $100 billion aircraft carrier program in Greenland has left Russia shocked and scrambling to respond. President Donald Trump's renewed fixation on acquiring the world's largest island has evolved from what many dismissed as rhetorical bombast into active policy planning. The White House has explicitly stated that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority and that utilizing the U.S. military remains an option on the table. This represents a stunning escalation from Trump's first-term musings about purchasing the territory, which Danish officials politely but firmly rejected. Following the success of Operation Absolute Resolve in Venezuela, where American forces captured President Nicolas Maduro in a lightning military operation, Trump's territorial ambitions have taken on new credibility and urgency. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been tasked with crafting a proposal to purchase Greenland, with cost estimates ranging from $500 billion to $700 billion. Trump has also made it clear that he prefers to make a deal the easy way, but has repeatedly emphasized that if negotiations fail, he will pursue the hard way. The implications of this statement, combined with the White House's explicit refusal to rule out military force, have European NATO allies deeply concerned that rhetoric is transforming into policy. Denmark and Greenland have unequivocally stated the island is not for sale, with Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen warning that any American military attack on Greenland would effectively end NATO. Despite this opposition, Trump doubled down, declaring that the United States will do something on Greenland whether they like it or not, because if America doesn't act, Russia or China will take over Greenland instead. This is where the USS Gerald R. Ford enters the picture. The deployment of America's flagship carrier to Greenlandic waters sends an unmistakable message about Washington's seriousness and its willingness to project military power into the Arctic. The USS Gerald R. Ford is quite simply the most powerful warship ever constructed. At over 100,000 tons fully loaded, this nuclear-powered supercarrier stretches 1,092 feet from bow to stern, longer than 3 football fields placed end-to-end. The flight deck alone covers 4.5 acres, providing operational space equivalent to a small airport. 2 Bechtel A-1B nuclear reactors generate 280 megawatts of power, enough electricity to power a city of 100,000 people. These reactors allow the Ford to operate continuously for over 20 years without refueling, providing unlimited strategic range limited only by the crew's endurance and the ship's food supplies. What truly distinguishes the Ford from its predecessors is revolutionary technology that fundamentally changes how carriers operate. The Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, or EMALS, replaces the steam catapults that have launched carrier aircraft for 7 decades. Using powerful electromagnets and linear induction motors, EMALS accelerates aircraft more smoothly and efficiently than steam catapults, reducing stress on airframes while expanding the weight range of aircraft that can be launched. This system can launch everything from lightweight drones to heavy strike fighters with equal efficiency, providing unprecedented flexibility. The Ford can sustain 160 sorties per day for 30 consecutive days, with surge capability reaching 270 sorties per day during high-intensity operations. The carrier's air wing typically includes up to 90 aircraft, though the exact composition varies by mission. F/A-18E and F Super Hornets provide the primary strike capability, able to deliver precision-guided weapons against targets hundreds of miles away. F-35C, Lightning II stealth fighters bring 5th-generation capabilities to the carrier deck, penetrating sophisticated air defenses and gathering intelligence with their advanced sensors. EA-18G Growlers jam enemy radars and communications, creating corridors through air defense networks. E-2D Advanced Hawkeye aircraft provide airborne early warning and battle management, coordinating the actions of dozens of aircraft across hundreds of miles. MH-60R and MH-60S Seahawk helicopters conduct anti-submarine warfare, search and rescue, and logistics support. This combination creates an integrated air combat system with capabilities exceeding most national air forces. The Ford's defensive systems ensure the carrier can protect itself and its strike group from threats ranging from aircraft to missiles to submarines. The dual-band radar system combines X-band and S-band arrays to simultaneously search for targets at long range while tracking incoming threats with precision. RIM-162, evolved Sea Sparrow missiles engage aircraft and anti-ship missiles at medium ranges, while RIM-116 rolling airframe missiles provide last-ditch point defense. The Phalanx close-in weapon system uses radar-guided 20mm cannons capable of firing 4,500 rounds per minute to destroy incoming missiles that penetrate other defenses. Advanced electronic warfare systems can jam enemy radars, deceive incoming missiles, and protect the carrier from electromagnetic attack. Perhaps most importantly, the Ford operates as the centerpiece of a carrier strike group that multiplies its capabilities exponentially. Ticonderoga-class cruisers equipped with the Aegis combat system provide area air defense, using their powerful SPY-1 radars and standard missiles to engage aircraft and ballistic missiles at ranges exceeding 100 miles. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers add additional layers of defense while carrying Tomahawk cruise missiles for long-range strike. Attack submarines, typically Virginia-class or Los Angeles-class boats, screen ahead of the strike group, hunting enemy submarines and gathering intelligence. Supply ships provide fuel, food, ammunition, and spare parts, allowing the strike group to operate far from friendly ports for months at a time. When these elements work together under unified command, they create a mobile, self-sustaining military force capable of projecting American power anywhere on Earth's oceans. The arrival of the USS Gerald R. Ford in Greenlandic waters marks an unprecedented deployment for several reasons. Aircraft carriers rarely venture into Arctic regions due to extreme weather conditions, ice hazards, and the challenges of operating in an environment where water temperatures can kill an unprotected person in minutes. The Ford's presence demonstrates American willingness to operate in these austere conditions and establishes a capability that few nations can match. The carrier provides a floating airbase that eliminates the need for permission from foreign governments to establish facilities on their territory. This is particularly relevant given Danish opposition to the American acquisition of Greenland. With the Ford on station, American aircraft can patrol Greenlandic airspace, monitor Russian and Chinese activities, and respond to emerging threats without requiring any cooperation from Denmark. The strategic implications of this deployment extend far beyond Greenland itself. The Arctic region has become increasingly contested as climate change opens new shipping routes and makes previously inaccessible resources exploitable. Russia has invested heavily in Arctic capabilities, constructing military bases across its northern coastline, deploying advanced air defense systems, and building nuclear-powered icebreakers to maintain year-round access to Arctic waters. President Vladimir Putin has made clear that Russia views the Arctic as strategically vital, warning at the International Arctic Forum in Murmansk that Russia will closely follow developments and mount appropriate responses to any perceived threats. China, despite having no Arctic territory, has declared itself a near-Arctic state and invested in ice-capable ships, Arctic research stations, and joint projects with Russia to develop northern sea route shipping lanes. The Ford's deployment directly challenges Russian and Chinese Arctic ambitions by demonstrating that the United States possesses both the capability and willingness to project overwhelming military power into the region. Russian military planners have long viewed the Arctic as a strategic sanctuary where their ballistic missile submarines can operate protected by ice and distance from American forces. The presence of an American carrier strike group in these waters fundamentally undermines this assumption, placing Russian bases, ports, and submarine bastions under potential threat. The Ford's aircraft can reach deep into Russian territory, striking military installations along the Kola Peninsula and in the Russian Far East. This capability forces Russia to dedicate air defense assets to protecting Arctic facilities that were previously considered relatively secure. Russian officials have responded to the Ford's deployment with a mixture of alarm and defiance. The state-controlled media outlet Pravda published extensive commentary from military analysts describing Greenland as a potential unsinkable American aircraft carrier in the Arctic, from which the United States could conduct geopolitical confrontation with both Russia and China. Igor Korochenko, editor-in-chief of National Defense magazine, warned that American control of Greenland would give Washington unprecedented ability to threaten Russian interests in the Arctic region. Other Russian commentators have accused the United States of using fabricated claims about Russian and Chinese ships near Greenland as pretext for territorial aggression, noting that NATO intelligence sources have confirmed no significant Russian or Chinese naval presence in Greenlandic waters, despite Trump's assertions. Moscow has already begun taking concrete steps to counter the American move. Russian military forces in the Arctic have been placed on heightened alert, with additional air patrols along the northern coastline and increased submarine activity in the Barents Sea and Norwegian Sea. Russia has accelerated deployment of S-400 and S-500 air defense systems to Arctic bases, systems specifically designed to engage stealth aircraft and cruise missiles at extreme ranges. The Russian Navy has deployed additional surface combatants to the Northern Fleet, including modern frigates equipped with Kaliber cruise missiles capable of striking targets over 1,000 miles away. Perhaps most concerning, Russia has conducted exercises simulating attacks on NATO naval forces in the North Atlantic, including scenarios involving aircraft carriers. China has also watched the Greenland situation with intense interest, viewing it through the lens of American attempts to contain Chinese global ambitions. Beijing has invested substantially in Arctic shipping routes as part of its Polar Silk Road initiative, seeing the Northern Sea route as an alternative to traditional shipping lanes through the South China Sea and Suez Canal. American control of Greenland could potentially threaten these shipping routes or allow Washington to interdict Chinese vessels transiting Arctic waters. Chinese foreign ministry officials have criticized Trump's use of alleged Chinese Arctic activities as justification for the acquisition of Greenland, pointing out that China respects the territorial integrity and sovereignty of all nations, including Denmark's sovereignty over Greenland. The technological capabilities the Fort brings to bear in Arctic operations deserve closer examination. Operating an aircraft carrier in Arctic conditions presents challenges that strain even the most advanced naval systems. Extreme cold affects everything from aircraft performance to crew endurance to the functioning of electronic systems. Ice formation on the flight deck can make aircraft operations hazardous or impossible. Limited visibility during Arctic winters, where darkness persists for months, complicates navigation and aircraft recovery. The Fort addresses these challenges through advanced systems and careful operational planning. The nuclear propulsion system eliminates concerns about fuel supplies in a region where refueling at sea becomes exponentially more dangerous in rough Arctic waters. The ship's heating systems maintain habitable temperatures throughout the vessel despite external temperatures that can reach -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Advanced weather prediction systems and ice detection radars allow the ship to navigate safely through conditions that would be impassable for conventionally powered vessels. The air wing adapts its operations to Arctic conditions through specialized training and equipment. Pilots practice operations in cold weather environments where engine performance decreases and ice accumulation on airframes creates additional weight and changes aerodynamic characteristics. Maintainers work in heated hangars below deck, bringing aircraft up to the flight deck only when ready for launch. Special cold weather lubricants and fluids ensure systems continue functioning despite temperatures that would freeze conventional materials. Aircraft are equipped with additional survival gear for crew members, recognizing that ejection over Arctic waters or ice means almost certain death without immediate rescue. The carrier maintains helicopters on constant standby for search and rescue, with crews specially trained in Arctic survival and recovery operations. The presence of the Ford also enables intelligence collection operations that were previously difficult or impossible to conduct. The carrier's aircraft can fly reconnaissance missions over vast expanses of Arctic territory, using advanced sensors to map Russian and Chinese military installations, monitor vessel movements through Arctic shipping lanes, and track submarine activity in areas where ice cover complicates detection. This intelligence provides American planners with unprecedented insight into adversary capabilities and intentions in the Arctic. The E-2D Hawkeye aircraft, in particular, carries powerful radars capable of detecting and tracking surface ships, aircraft, and even periscopes at ranges exceeding 300 miles. When multiple Hawkeyes operate in a coordinated pattern, they create a surveillance net covering hundreds of thousands of square miles of ocean and airspace. The economic dimensions of the Ford's deployment also merit attention. Operating a carrier strike group costs approximately $6.5 million per day, a staggering sum that reflects the enormous resources required to sustain such a force. Fuel for the escort vessels alone runs into thousands of gallons per day, despite the carrier itself requiring no fuel for propulsion. Food for nearly 10,000 personnel across the strike group must be constantly replenished. Spare parts, ammunition, and other consumables flow from supply ships to the combatants in an endless logistical ballet. Aircraft require constant maintenance, with each flight hour generating multiple maintenance man-hours to keep the planes airworthy. This massive expenditure underscores the seriousness with which the United States views the Greenland situation and its broader Arctic strategy. The deployment raises profound questions about the future of NATO and transatlantic relations. Denmark is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance that has anchored European security since 1949. Article 5 of the NATO Treaty states that an attack on one member is an attack on all, obligating all alliance members to defend each other against aggression. The prospect of the United States using military force against Greenland, a territory of NATO member Denmark, creates an unprecedented crisis within the alliance. Would other NATO members be obligated to defend Denmark against the United States? Would such a scenario effectively destroy NATO from within? These questions have no clear answers, as the alliance's founding documents never envisioned a scenario where one member might threaten another. European NATO members have begun quietly consulting among themselves about potential responses to American actions in Greenland. Some analysts speculate that an American seizure of Greenland could lead to the creation of what some call Euro-NATO, a European defense alliance operating without American participation. Such an alliance would likely center on the nuclear capabilities of France and the United Kingdom, with Germany potentially developing its own nuclear deterrent to replace the American nuclear umbrella. However, this scenario remains speculative, as European nations lack the military capabilities to confront the United States directly and remain economically dependent on access to American markets. The more likely European response would involve diplomatic protests, economic sanctions targeting American goods, and a fundamental reassessment of transatlantic security relationships. Also, Russia's shock at the Ford's deployment stems not just from the immediate military implications, but from recognition that American Arctic strategy has fundamentally shifted. For decades, the Arctic remained relatively stable, with limited military activities and broad agreement that the region should remain peaceful. Climate change has upended this stability by making the Arctic increasingly accessible and economically valuable. Russia has moved aggressively to claim Arctic resources and shipping routes, viewing the region as critical to its economic future and national security. The United States largely ceded Arctic leadership for decades, maintaining only modest capabilities in the region. The Ford's deployment signals that this period has ended, and America intends to compete aggressively for Arctic dominance. Russian military analysts recognize that competing with American carrier strike groups in the Arctic presents challenges Russia cannot easily overcome. The Russian Navy has focused on submarines, coastal defense, and anti-access/area denial strategies rather than blue water power projection. Russia lacks operational aircraft carriers and would struggle to effectively challenge the Ford in open water combat. Russian strategy has instead emphasized land-based aircraft, submarines, and long-range missiles to deny American carriers access to areas near Russian territory. The Ford's presence in Greenlandic waters complicates this strategy by placing American naval power in a region Russia considered relatively secure, forcing adjustments to defensive plans and diverting resources from other priorities. As the situation continues to evolve, several potential scenarios emerge. In the most optimistic case, the carrier's presence facilitates negotiations that result in an agreement expanding American military access to Greenland while respecting Danish sovereignty and Greenlandic self-determination. Such an arrangement might resemble the Compact of Free Association that governs relationships between the United States and several Pacific Island nations, where America provides defense and economic assistance in exchange for military access and political influence. However, Trump's rhetoric suggests he seeks full ownership rather than such halfway measures, making this scenario unlikely without significant pressure from Congress or international institutions. A more concerning scenario involves escalating tensions leading to actual military conflict. If Trump attempts to seize Greenland by force, Denmark would face an impossible choice between accepting American aggression or attempting military resistance that would certainly fail but might preserve national honor. European NATO members would face similar dilemmas about whether treaty obligations require defending Denmark against the United States. Such a crisis could shatter NATO, undermine European security, and create opportunities for Russia and China to advance their interests while the West tears itself apart. The Ford's presence makes this scenario more likely by demonstrating American capability and resolve, while intimidating potential opposition into accepting American demands. The most likely outcome may involve prolonged ambiguity, where American military presence in Greenland gradually expands without formal annexation. The United States already maintains Patuxent Space Base in Greenland, providing a foothold that could be expanded through infrastructure investments, additional personnel deployments, and growing economic ties. The Ford's deployment establishes American ability to dominate Greenlandic waters, while sustained pressure on Denmark and Greenland might eventually wear down opposition to expanded American presence. Over time, American de facto control might become so extensive that formal sovereignty becomes almost irrelevant, achieving Trump's objectives without requiring the dramatic confrontation that full annexation would provoke. In March 2025, the United States Navy pointed the bow of some of its behemoth warships, including the USS Iwo Jima assault ship, which also functions as an aircraft carrier, towards the Venezuelan water space with its intentions still unknown to the public. How will Venezuela react to the appearance of this Titan? Could there be a possible war on the horizon? Join us as we discuss the sudden appearance of America's $13.2 billion aircraft carrier in Venezuelan waters. The United States has been at the pinnacle of military technology since time immemorial, with the continuous attribution of some of the greatest inventions to it. While they have shown inventiveness and guile, they have also reflected their ability to go to war should the need arise. Although some countries have been compelled to form alliances with the United States due to its military prowess, others remain on opposite sides, continuing to disagree on political issues and transnational interests. The possibility of war remains on the horizon. As the international relations with some countries continue to be difficult, the United States has continued to shield and protect its territories by setting up some of the most highly guarded defenses of all time across the land, the seas, and the air, with inventions that strike fear right into the hearts of a neighboring nation harboring intentions of harm towards the United States. While these defensive measures have been labeled as effective, have they entirely put a stop to foreign threats? Although the United States intelligence has created a reputation that breathes a rethink into any opposing forces, there is a continuous effort from the cartels of several countries seeking ways into the United States to break through these defenses, but mostly by stealth rather than all-out war, which they are sure to lose. While the United States Army, the Drug Enforcement Agency, or DEA, and the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, popularly called ICE, have been tasked by the United States to oversee the actions of these opposing forces on land and deal with the threats by whatever means necessary, the cartels have grown even smarter and better at their trade than in past decades. In recent times, the United States has gathered strong intelligence on cartels from South America, like the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, the Knight Templar Cartel, and the Sinaloa Cartel, which trade in cocaine, methamphetamine, opioids, humans, and weapons trafficking. Owing to the strict restrictions that have been put in place on the United States-Mexico border, where most of the cartel members have been apprehended, they have resorted to using the open seas. While the rationale appears basic, it was somewhat understandable. Defending a large body of water where numerous ships travel is difficult for any nation's military intelligence, regardless of the size and the technology available to them. While there has been some recorded success from the government of the United States, where the Coast Guard has successfully apprehended vessels carrying precursors for creating some of the most radical drugs in the narcotics pipeline, especially for the Sinaloa cartel, there remains an apparent continuity in production, meaning that they might have cut off a vast supply. Still, a considerable sum has also slipped past them at sea. But what solutions could be more effective to capture a bigger part of these maritime missions? The United States developed sea behemoths, titans that look like floating cities, bossing the ocean from coast to coast. For some context, the United States commissioned the USS Iwo Jima into the United States Navy in 2001 and sent it out on the Atlantic Ocean as a representative of the naval strength of the United States. Although the USS Iwo Jima was designed as a WASP-class amphibious assault ship of the United States Navy, the consistent chase of narco vessels, including submarines and go-fast boats, created the need for a faster vessel that could take on these boats and also deploy airstrikes when needed. While the United States Maritime Forces, including the Coast Guard, the Customs and Border Patrol, and ultimately the United States Navy, have been hot on the trail of opposing maritime forces and subduing them using whatever means necessary, they have the support of other countries, like the United Kingdom, Russia, and sometimes Mexico, providing intelligence on how and when to strike the drug vessels that come from different countries once they detect their vessels on their radar. However, Mexico's support has been inconsistent over the years, with changes in government leading to changes in its approach to international relations. For some context, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, popularly called AMLO, voiced his complaint about the United States, accusing it of overreaching and defying the sovereignty of Mexico, using the Mérida Initiative as an excuse to take Mexican lives instead of re-educating them and rooting out the real cause of the drug trade, particularly poverty. In return, the United States government accused the Mexican government of not doing enough. Washington believed that the Mexican government chose to hide intelligence about specific locations and the workflow of the cartels existing within their country in a bid to protect its sovereignty and stop the United States from using the Mérida Initiative as a trigger to bypass sovereign laws and fracture their international relationship in the process. Following the change in government in both countries, with Donald Trump as President of the United States and Claudia Sheinbaum as President of Mexico, both countries are once again back on track. Although the Mérida Initiative has been largely abandoned, the Mexican government has agreed to continue sharing intelligence with the United States, provided that it is kept informed about how the operation is conducted. In September 2025, the United States Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, met with the representatives of Mexico in a meeting where they discussed the reciprocity of cooperation in matters of security, which will be based on respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, reaffirming there. Both governments have created a high-level implementation group that will meet regularly to follow up on joint commitments and actions undertaken within their own countries, including measures to combat cartels, strengthen security at the border, eliminate clandestine trans-border tunnels, address the issue of illicit financial flows, improve collaboration to prevent fuel theft, and increase inspections, investigations, and legal processes to stop the flow of arms and drug trafficking. With the Mexican government's recognition of its status as a narco-state, reaching an agreement and cooperating with the United States required some compromise on some of its tightest laws, which was not too difficult. While the Mexican government continues to provide support for the United States, Colombia, popular for its cocaine and weapons trafficking, which is often ferried through the Mexican cartels, who then send their carriers into the United States, has decided to join forces with the United States. Although Colombia's support seems at its strongest in recent years, it started a long time ago, particularly in the 90s. The United States had created an initiative called Plan Colombia, which oversaw the consistent billions of dollars being sent to Colombia to help fight against the continuous rise in cocaine trafficking. The official objective was to end the Colombian armed conflict by increasing funding and training of Colombian military and paramilitary forces and creating an anti-cocaine strategy to eradicate coca cultivation. The plan was solid and it provided serious results, as the cocaine production in Colombia dropped well over 70% between 2001 and 2012. While the plan worked until 2016, when both nations came to an agreement of not needing it anymore, Colombia, with the help of the United States, held a peace agreement referendum, which terminated the conflict with the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, a Marxist-Leninist group that wanted full control of Colombia and its resources, especially coca, the plant used to create cocaine. Supporters of the plan in the United States Congress asserted that over 1,300 square kilometers of mature coca were sprayed and eradicated in Colombia in 2003, which would have prevented the production of over 500 metric tons of cocaine. This plan eliminated over $100 million of the illegal income that supports drug dealers and different illegal organizations in the United States, who are funded by that cash flow. While Plan Colombia was functioning, Colombia became the United States' greatest ally in South America, with extradition going up 1,000-fold, and the left-wing insurgents were finally dealt with. However, it wasn't long after the end of the Plan Colombia initiative before the guerrillas took control of the coca plantations and operated in the jungle, protected by armed men while they cultivated coca. The United States described the Colombian government as not doing enough to curb the sudden surge of coca cultivation, which has increased the percentage of cocaine being moved inside the United States. increasing the odds of addiction to the narcotic substance in the United States. While the tension between the two countries rose to a fever pitch, it wasn't long before they found a compromise, and yet again, they returned to collaborating and exchanging intelligence about the cartels. However, as much as Bogotá and the Mexican governments worked to reduce the flow of drug trafficking, human trafficking, and weapons trafficking in South America, there is one country in South America that provides no support or displays any sort of interest in the United States' desperate attempts to stop the flow of drugs and weapons into the country. And that country is Venezuela. Over the years, Caracas and Washington have been at odds over the possibility of cooperation between the two countries. The sovereign state of Venezuela has always considered the United States as imperialists, who are only capable of colonization and taking what they want by force. However, it all dates back to Hugo Chavez, who rose to power in the late 1990s and built a revolution so powerful that even the United States government could not control it. He built the popular Bolivarian Revolution in Venezuela on a mandate that declared the United States an enemy of the state, which only wants control of Venezuelan oil. He was quick to reel the world in, letting them know that he had taken a stance in Latin America against the United States, a far cry from the cooperative Colombia and Mexico, which share valuable intelligence with the United States about the presence of the cartels in their respective countries. As expected, he had the backing of Russia, China, and Cuba, three sovereign states that had been in natural opposition to the United States since time immemorial. When Hugo Chavez died in 2013, the United States tried another attempt at getting Venezuela to enter into an agreement quite similar to that of Colombia and Mexico, where they have a joint task force and shared intelligence on the cartels while strategizing a takedown. However, Nicolas Maduro, who took over Chavez's regime, kicked against the idea. Hence, the United States imposed sanctions on Venezuela's oil assets and imposed restrictions on their banking systems, pushing the country further into creating more diplomatic ties with foreign countries, especially Russia, on whom they depended for weapons, China, on whom the Venezuelan government relied for loans, and Iraq, on whom they depended for weapons. These continuous restrictions on Venezuela created a seemingly permanent torn rift between them and the United States. By mid-2010s, the United States government had deemed Venezuela a narco-state, especially because of a perceived indulgence of a notorious drug cartel called the Cartel of the Sun. The cartel became dangerously described as the most volatile and strategic in South America, especially because the Venezuelan borders were so easily bypassed. The rationale behind the United States government's decision on Venezuela comes from the country's position in the Caribbean and how lax its security measures are. For some context, Venezuela sits just east of Colombia, the country that mass produces the highest amount of cocaine in the world. Hence, with relaxed security of its borders, the cartels could simply ferry their narcotics to the Dominican Republic, Africa, Europe, and all over the world, almost without any consequences. While the United States has tried to fix the relationship between the two countries, the Venezuelan government only sees the United States as colonialists who are trying to get all of Latin America under their control. Hence, the United States chose to strike again in March 2020, accusing Nicolas Maduro Moros and 14 other leaders of Venezuela of narco-terrorism, corruption, drug trafficking, and other criminal charges. The United States alleged that the Venezuelan government officials partnered with the Fuerzas Armadas Revolucionarias de Colombia, or FARC, to use cocaine as a weapon to flood the United States. According to United States Attorney General Barr, for more than 20 years, Maduro and several high-ranking colleagues allegedly conspired with the Colombian leftists, causing tons of cocaine to enter and devastate American communities. Hence, the allegation is focused on rooting out the extensive corruption within the Venezuelan government, which he described as a system constructed and controlled to enrich those at the highest levels of the government. The United States will not allow these corrupt Venezuelan officials to use the United States banking system to move their illicit proceeds from South America, nor further their criminal schemes, Barr declared. Although there is no obvious evidence that points to Nicolas Maduro as being culpable for the allegations levied against him, the United States government continued to try to make the allegations stick and possibly go to trial. However, they found nothing to make it stick. Following the allegations, the relationship got even worse between both nations, with Venezuela being the only narco state whose government is not in alliance with the United States and is also unwilling to give up valuable intelligence about their sea routes or whatever vessel that comes up on their radar. Owing to the restrictions placed on the country by the United States, Venezuela has become a narco state. Furthermore, they use the cartel of the Suns to help prop up the Maduro government and the Venezuelan economy. Within this system, the regime rewards loyalty through assignment to regions known to offer a wealth of opportunities for enrichment through drug trafficking and other criminal opportunities that can be achieved through smuggling or trafficking. Furthermore, they use their military to participate in drug trafficking in 4 key ways. The most common way is simply to take payoffs to turn a blind eye to or guarantee impunity for trafficking operations, or through military cells creating free movement corridors for traffickers, which can be aerial, for example, by turning off radars to allow drug flights to pass or providing special codes for the flight to be registered as legal. Terrestrial, for example, by facilitating passage through networks of checkpoints. Or maritime, which could be handled by halting patrols at certain times to allow drug boats to pass without any form of hindrance. However, the United States has finally had enough. Hence, they decided to unleash their naval and air superiority worth over $13 billion on the shores of Venezuela. The day was September 3, 2025, when the Trump administration decided to dispatch warships, including assets like the USS San Antonio, USS Iwo Jima, USS Fort Lauderdale, and reportedly the USS Lake Erie, USS Gravely, and USS Jason Dunham. It was no longer a litigious battle. The time for discussion was over. The United States had now decided to act on the intelligence that was gathered by the Drug Enforcement Agency and other bodies involved in the war on drugs. The warships were dispatched to counter threats posed by the criminal organizations operating in the region. For some context, the United States never used military forces against drug cartels, as they were not considered foreign terrorist organizations. However, since the start of the Donald Trump administration in 2025, the United States in January of the same year finally decided on designating cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, meaning that the United States had the license to unleash the full power of its military. In addition to the warships, one of which included the USS Iwo Jima, a warship capable of carrying a mix of aircraft like helicopters and fighter jets like the F-35 Lightning II, Pentagon also gave the green light to dispatch 1 nuclear-powered fast-attack submarine with more than 4,500 sailors and Marines on board the vessels with only one goal: taking down a representative of the drug economy of Venezuela. President Donald Trump released a video showing that the vessel was smuggling drugs out of Venezuela for the Tren de Aragua gang. According to the Chief of Armed Forces' social media post, the missile, which is suspected to be an AGM-114 Hellfire missile, took out 11 people who were on the vessel. The vessel, which appears to be a go-fast boat, was a familiar play from the Mexican cartel playbooks. Hence, the United States had enough intelligence on it. After the strike, the United States president posted a very strong message online to the Venezuelan cartels and others around the world. No U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. Please let this serve as notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware, the president said. As expected, the news had reached the Venezuelan president, Maduro, who has now criticized the United States' use of military forces in their waters, despite the restriction that comes with such actions, without consulting the affected country beforehand. He claims that the United States is on the cusp of setting a precedent for war, and he will be prepared to retaliate in kind if the United States continues to bombard their shores. He further claims that the United States is trying to topple his government, forcing a regime change through military interference. Venezuela is confronting the biggest threat that has been seen on our continent in the last 100 years. If Venezuela were attacked, we would immediately move to armed struggle in defense of our territory, he said, pledging to declare a republic in arms. With the fires of war stoked between the two sovereign states, it remains to be seen if it ends in an all-out war or peace talks. The United States is slowly losing its dominance of the seas to China. This country is not only dominating with more vessels than the United States, still, it is also investing in creating a mighty aircraft carrier that might have what it takes to challenge the U.S.'s renowned USS Gerald Ford. Does China have what it takes to dominate the seas? What are the capabilities of China's newly unveiled aircraft carrier? Join us as we explore the capabilities of China's new largest aircraft carrier. China's ambitions to challenge America's dominance on the seas are growing stronger by the day. With an astonishing fleet of 340 warships, China now has the most immense naval power in the world, surpassing the United States, which boasts a costly aircraft carrier fleet. China's rapid expansion of its carrier fleet has become a serious concern for the U.S. Until June 17, 2022, China and the United Kingdom were tied in terms of the number of aircraft carriers, but that changed with the launch of the Type 003 Fujian. This ship is the largest conventionally powered aircraft carrier ever built and is the third in China's growing fleet. Before the Fujian, China's first two carriers included the Type 001 Liaoning, a 61,000-ton vessel bought from Ukraine, and the Type 002 Shandong, the first domestically built carrier. However, it was designed based on the Liaoning. Now, the Type 003 Fujian is here to change naval warfare. It looks far more like American carriers, with a completely different design from China's earlier ships. The Fujian aircraft carrier is a massive ship, measuring about 316 meters long and 76 meters wide. It has a full load weight between 80,000 and 85,000 tons, making it a huge and powerful vessel. To compare its size, it's similar to the United States Navy's Kitty Hawk-class aircraft carriers. The flight deck is equipped with 3 electromagnetic catapults, a modern technology for launching aircraft. These catapults are considered the most advanced in the world and are only used on the Fujian and the USS Gerald R. Ford. The deck also has an angled landing area with a resting gear, making it suitable for various aircraft types. The air wing aboard the Fujian is expected to carry at least 40 fixed-wing aircraft and 12 helicopters. Some aircraft likely to be on board include the Shenyang J-15 and FC-31 fighter jets and the Xi'an KJ-600 early warning aircraft, similar to the U.S. Navy's E-2C Hawkeye. In terms of power, the Fujian is driven by conventional steam turbines and diesel generators, using an integrated power system for better efficiency. The Fujian's development has been a long and complex process. Initially, the ship was thought to be part of the Type 002 class, as it followed the Shandong, which was officially confirmed as Type 002 in 2019. As the Fujian began taking shape, it was reclassified to Type 003, marking a major step in China's aircraft carrier development. Work on the Fujian started in the mid-2010, with initial construction beginning in March 2015. The ship's development faced several delays, mainly due to tests involving the EM and steam catapults. But construction resumed by November 2017, after the Chinese military developed the necessary power system for the catapults. The ship's launch took place on June 17, 2022. It was named after Fujian Province, located directly across from Taiwan, adding a layer of political significance to its name. Power and mooring tests started in April 2023, with catapult testing following in November 2023, using mock aircraft for simulations. By May 2024, the Fujian began its sea trials. These trials, which continue into December 2024, are designed to help the crew familiarize themselves with the ship's advanced technology. However, the carrier has not yet started the crucial tests involving aircraft takeoffs and landings. Recently, videos have surfaced showing the Fujian undergoing critical tests, including checking its propulsion machinery while docked and testing its cutting-edge electromagnetic catapults designed to launch fighter jets. The carrier is now in the final stages of preparation, with sea trials expected soon. Once completed, the Fujian will join China's Navy, marking a new era in naval warfare and a powerful challenge to the U.S. fleet. Given the global conflicts unfolding today, the timing of a new warship's entry into service could be unsettling. With the ongoing war in Ukraine and the Israel-Gaza conflict, the seas are becoming increasingly active. Often seen as a key player, China is expected to take sides against whichever the U.S. supports. For instance, U.S. aircraft carriers have already become involved in the Israel-Hamas conflict. 2 massive carriers, along with a fleet of supporting ships, were quickly deployed to the Middle East following Hamas's surprise attack on Israel. Their mission? To deter other parties from escalating the conflict, especially with the looming threat of outside interference. The USS Gerald Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, was one of the ships sent, yet after its presence served its purpose, intimidating would-be aggressors, it was recalled to its home port. But this isn't the end. The arrival of China's Type 003 Fujian aircraft carrier poses a significant challenge. The question of which aircraft carrier will dominate the seas, China's Type 003, Fujian or America's USS Gerald Ford, has sparked intense debate. It's a battle between two massive machines representing the pinnacle of military power for their nations. This competition could determine technological superiority and which country will have more naval influence in the coming decades. On one side, we have the Chinese Type 003 Fujian. This modern marvel embodies China's rising military ambitions, and, on the other, the USS Gerald Ford, a symbol of America's unmatched naval dominance. The stakes are high, and the comparison between these two carriers comes down to several crucial factors that will ultimately shape their effectiveness on the global stage. When it comes to propulsion, the Fujian uses a conventional propulsion system, which means it consumes large amounts of fuel to power the ship's systems and keep everything running. While details on the exact engines powering the Fujian are still closely guarded, given that it's a new flagship and not much information has been released, likely its fuel consumption and efficiency don't compare to the USS Gerald Ford's nuclear propulsion system. The USS Gerald Ford is equipped with two A-1B nuclear reactors, the most advanced propulsion technology ever created for an aircraft carrier. These reactors allow the Ford to operate without refueling for up to 25 years. A clear advantage over the Fujian. This long operational lifespan means the Ford can maintain constant readiness without relying on regular fuel replenishments, giving it unparalleled endurance. With a top speed of 30 knots, the USS Gerald R. Ford can quickly reach any part of the world, making it a powerful symbol of America's global reach. Its nuclear-powered engines ensure that it can remain operational for extended periods without being slowed down by the logistical challenges of traditional fuel sources. The USS Gerald Ford's ability to visit allies and disrupt potential adversaries across the globe, unhindered by fuel limitations, gives it a distinct edge. The competition doesn't stop at propulsion. Artificial intelligence and automation also play a significant role in determining an aircraft carrier's overall capability. The USS Gerald Ford is equipped with one of the most advanced AI and automation systems in naval history. Building on the legacy of its predecessors in the Nimitz class, the Ford integrates cutting-edge technology that streamlines operations, enhances decision-making, and reduces the need for human intervention. This level of automation makes the USS Gerald Ford incredibly efficient and operationally flexible. On the other hand, China has kept much of the information regarding Fujian's AI and automation systems under wraps. While it's clear that the Chinese carrier is equipped with modern technology, it's unlikely to surpass the level of AI sophistication present on the USS Gerald Ford. Given Ford's proven track record of pushing the boundaries of naval automation, it's safe to say that the Chinese Fujian has a long way to go to catch up in this area. The advanced AI systems aboard the Ford assist in managing the ship's operations and play a key role in optimizing flight operations, making it a formidable force on the seas. The USS Ford is truly a marvel of modern technology, unlike anything the world has ever seen. This aircraft carrier has revolutionized naval warfare with artificial intelligence integrated into nearly every operation. From automated systems to unmanned vehicles, the ship is designed to function with a level of efficiency and ease that far surpasses traditional carriers. These technological components significantly reduce the complexity of operating the ship. In fact, the USS Ford has a crew of just 4,500 personnel, which is much smaller than the 6,000-plus crew members typically found on Nimitz-class carriers of similar size. This smaller crew size means that the Ford has more internal space, which can be dedicated to advanced systems, weapons, and even amenities designed to enhance the crew's quality of life. Ergonomic spaces, gymnasiums, and other life improvement features are incorporated, ensuring the crew has everything they need to stay healthy and energized. This is crucial because a carrier's success and agility depend on the well-being of its crew. A happy, well-rested, and efficient crew can keep the carrier agile and ready for any mission. Regarding sensors and processing systems, both the USS Ford and China's Fujian aircraft carriers stand out with their state-of-the-art technology. The Fujian, for instance, is equipped with an advanced integrated power system that significantly improves the efficiency of its power distribution. This upgrade boosts the performance of the ship's sensors and other crucial systems. One of the key components is its active electronically scanned array radar, which enables the Fujian to detect and track multiple targets at once, giving it superior situational awareness. Supporting this radar are additional sensors, including 4 S-band Dragon-I Type 346 radars and 4 smaller X-band AESA radar panels. These systems allow the Fujian to maintain a cutting-edge capability for surveillance and tracking. On the other hand, the USS Ford takes a more unique approach with its sensor and processing systems. Unlike almost every other aircraft carrier in the world, the Ford features a single system for horizon and volume search, known as the AN/SPY-3 radar. This innovative system combines 2 essential functions into one, providing more precise and efficient tracking and identification of multiple targets across vast distances. This integration reduces the number of separate systems needed and ensures that the Ford's radar system is streamlined and highly effective. The ability to seamlessly track airborne and surface targets simultaneously makes the Ford incredibly versatile and formidable. In both cases, the advanced technologies on these carriers are pushing the boundaries of what's possible in naval defense. The integration of AI, automated systems, and next-generation radar technologies ensures that these ships are ready to meet the challenges of modern warfare, all while providing improved operational efficiency and a better quality of life for the crew. These advancements are setting a new standard for naval power, and the USS Ford and Fujian are leading the way. The cutting-edge radar system on the Type 003 Fujian aircraft carrier is among the most advanced in the world. This multifunctional radar, which uses an active electronically scanned array, is equipped with the most sensitive sensors, making it capable of managing numerous tasks at once. It can perform surveillance, handle air traffic control, manage missile systems, facilitate communications, and detect targets up to 80 miles away. This level of capability is unmatched by any radar system in the U.S. The air wing aboard the Fujian is set to be a formidable force. Its primary aircraft will likely be the naval version of China's Shenyang FC-31, known as the J-35, a 5th-generation fighter designed to compete with the United States F-35 Lightning II. The Fujian could also deploy the KJ-600, a surveillance aircraft similar to the U.S. Navy's E-2D Hawkeye. Along with these fighters, the carrier may carry a variety of rotary wing aircraft and unmanned aerial vehicles, although the exact number remains unclear. Weighing 80,000 tons, the Fujian is slightly smaller than the USS Gerald R. Ford, which weighs 100,000 tons. Despite its smaller size, the Fujian will still be a powerful force, but the USS Ford can carry up to 75 aircraft, including the F-35 Lightning II, often praised as the most advanced fighter in history due to its sophisticated sensors and combat systems. While the J-35 aims to replicate the F-35, it doesn't quite surpass the original. Another remarkable feature of the Fujian is its electromagnetic launch system, placing China among only 3 nations, along with the US and France, that possess this advanced technology. This system, a significant leap from the traditional steam-powered launch systems, or ski ramps, offers much greater efficiency and capability in launching aircraft, marking a significant technological achievement for China's naval capabilities. Aircraft carriers are impressive feats of engineering, capable of launching a wide variety of both manned and unmanned aircraft across short distances without damaging them. The Fujian, China's latest carrier, features 3 of these powerful systems, while the USS Ford, the U.S. Navy's flagship, has 4. These catapult systems allow planes to launch efficiently and quickly, while the arresting systems, on the other hand, safely stop incoming aircraft in a short space, ensuring they don't end up in the ocean. Both the Fujian and Ford have these arresting gears, essential for any carrier. The older American carriers also utilize electromagnetic launch and arrest systems, giving the U.S. Navy decades of experience in these technologies. While the Fujian is a major milestone for China, it's still new to building such advanced carriers. In contrast, the U.S. has years of expertise. Although China is catching up, the USS Ford still outshines the Fujian in terms of capabilities. However, with both nations building newer carriers, only time will tell if the U.S. can maintain its lead or if China will eventually overtake them. Although China is working to close the gap, the competition is set to intensify with advancements like the Type 004 aircraft carrier. This planned supercarrier represents a significant leap in China's naval ambitions, designed as a larger and more powerful successor to the Type 003. Like the Type 003, the Type 004 will have an advanced electric propulsion system, allowing it to use cutting-edge electromagnetic catapults for launching aircraft. However, unlike its predecessor, the Type 004 will be much larger and the first Chinese aircraft carrier to be powered by nuclear energy. China has ambitious plans for the Type 004, hoping to complete it by the late 2020s, with the possibility of building up to 4 of these giants. In 2017, the Chinese government allocated $3.3 billion to develop
these
new
two nuclear
technology
reactors,
for molten
one
salt
positioned
nuclear
at the
reactors,
front and the
which
other
will be used to
situated
power
here.
the Type 004
This nuclear
and other military ships in the future. These reactors were expected to be operational by 2020, showing how committed China is to advancing its naval power. As for the construction, things started to take shape in late 2017, when huge 1,600-ton cranes were installed at Jiangnan shipyard. This sparked rumors that the Type 004 would be built there. Later, China's shipbuilding industry also hinted that Dalian Shipyard would be involved in making the nuclear-powered carrier. By early 2018, reports even suggested that metal cutting for the ship had already begun, showing how fast the project was moving. When it comes to aircraft, the Type 004 is expected to carry a variety of powerful planes, including the J-15 and J-35 fighters, KJ-600 early warning planes, and anti-submarine warfare aircraft. There's also a possibility that stealth drones could be deployed from this carrier. Although there were earlier rumors that the J-20 fighter might be used on this ship, experts like Rear Admiral Zhang Zhaozhong have ruled it out. The J-20, with its large design and lack of folding wings, isn't suited for carrier operations. Plus, its stealth coating could wear off in the harsh conditions at sea, making it impractical for the Type 004. On the other hand, the United States is not slowing down as well. HI recently announced a major milestone in shipbuilding as its Newport News shipbuilding division successfully transferred the mid-body hull section of the Gerald R. Ford-class aircraft carrier Enterprise. This move allows the shipyard to begin constructing 2 Gerald R. Ford-class carriers in the same dry dock simultaneously. The process kicked off on October 31, when the dry dock was carefully filled with over 100 million gallons of water, marking the first time CVN-80 was floated. It was then moved to the west end of the dry dock for further construction work. Early next year, work will begin on assembling the Doris Miller in the east end of the dry dock, making history as the first time 2 Ford-class carriers will be built at the same time in the same dock. This dual construction is made possible by the 2019 CVN-80 and 81 two-ship contract modification and the upgrades to the dry dock, funded by HII and the U.S. Navy. Les Smith, NNS Vice President for Enterprise and Doris Miller programs, highlighted the significance of this achievement, noting that the Enterprise follows in the footsteps of its predecessor, the first nuclear-powered carrier Enterprise, also built at Newport News. Newport News Shipbuilding is the only shipyard capable of designing, building, and refueling nuclear-powered aircraft carriers for the Navy. Enterprise is the first carrier to be designed and built using digital methods, with shipbuilders using laptops and tablets for work instructions instead of traditional paper drawings. HII, a global defense leader, continues to provide cutting-edge solutions in shipbuilding, unmanned systems, cybersecurity, AI, ML, and other areas vital to advancing U.S. national security. America's secret ghost jet may soon appear on the USS Gerald Ford, shocking Pentagon officials and rivals. This tailless, triangle-shaped fighter boasts smart skin sensors, laser weapons, and hypersonic speeds of over 6,000 miles per hour. It can even command a swarm of robotic wingmen. Earlier stealth jets seem obsolete in comparison. Has the U.S. Navy just rewritten the rules of aerial warfare? And how will China and Russia react to this invisible predator of the skies? Join us as we unveil the 7th-generation fighter jet before it makes it on the United States aircraft carrier. The sky above the USS Gerald Ford lit up with a bright blue flash as something incredible took place. After nearly a century of struggle, the United States Navy had finally solved one of its biggest challenges: Carrier-based jets could now match or even surpass land-based fighters. For years, aircraft carriers had a major disadvantage. Their jets had to be smaller, lighter, and carry less fuel compared to those launching from land. As countries like China and Russia built powerful land-based fighters and long-range missiles, many experts doubted whether carriers could hold their ground in modern warfare. That changed with the Navy's next-generation air dominance fighter. Unlike the older FA-18 Super Hornets, this new jet brought futuristic technology that had once seemed impossible. It wasn't just a single aircraft, it was the leader of a small team. Each NGAD fighter was paired with autonomous drones, commonly called collaborative combat aircraft. These drones carried extra weapons, sensors, and fuel, following the lead fighter's commands while also making quick decisions on their own. A single pilot could now manage what used to take several people. The USS Gerald Ford's firepower grew even stronger with the addition of the Helios laser weapon system. This powerful 150-kilowatt laser could track and destroy incoming missiles and enemy drones almost instantly. Unlike traditional missiles that could run out, the laser remained operational as long as the ship had power. Most people had no idea how fast this technology was advancing. When an Air Force official revealed in 2020 that a test version of the NGAD fighter had already flown, defense experts were caught off guard. The Navy had been quietly working on this breakthrough for more than 7 years, replacing outdated systems from the 1990s with cutting-edge technology designed for the future. The USS Gerald Ford was designed with cutting-edge advancements in mind. As the Navy's most sophisticated aircraft carrier, it featured electromagnetic catapults that propelled aircraft more swiftly and effectively than traditional steam-powered systems. Its nuclear reactors generated the vast energy required for the Helios laser. The NGAD fighter also looked completely different from older jets. It had no vertical tail fins and featured a sleek triangular design, allowing it to fly in ways that would have made traditional aircraft lose control. Advanced computer systems made thousands of tiny adjustments every second to keep it steady and maneuverable. In training exercises, the results spoke for themselves. Against experienced pilots flying F-35s, the NGAD fighter and its robotic wingmen won nearly every simulated battle. The difference was overwhelming. For countries that had spent billions developing anti-ship missiles to keep United States carriers at a distance, this presented a serious problem. With these new jets, carriers could now operate much closer to enemy territory without fear. For the first time since World War II, carrier-based jets weren't just keeping up with land-based fighters, they were better. This wasn't just an upgrade. As the sun set behind the carrier, the new fighter launched into the night, its silhouette blending into the sky. The aircraft represented a development in naval warfare. What happens when these advanced fighters go beyond the clouds and into the vast darkness of space? Could the next generation of American warplanes be used as spacecraft? Engineers across America are already working on technologies beyond those used on the USS Gerald Ford. While naval aviation advances, the next leap is happening in secret labs. The goal isn't just faster planes, it's aircraft that can move between air and space. These next-generation hypersonic fighters could transform aerial combat. Traveling above Mach 5, more than 6,000 kilometers per hour, they could cross continents in minutes. A fighter this fast could fly from New York to Los Angeles in under 30 minutes, making it nearly impossible to track, let alone stop. Building such an aircraft comes with massive challenges. At extreme speeds, air friction generates heat strong enough to melt standard materials. To solve this, the Air Force and NASA are developing heat-resistant composites that can withstand over 2,000 degrees Celsius without breaking apart. Propulsion is another hurdle. Regular jet engines can't function well at extreme speeds or in the thin upper atmosphere. That's where scramjets come in. Unlike traditional engines, scramjets have no moving parts. They use the aircraft's speed to compress incoming air, generating thrust. Since 2018, the Air Force's Mayhem project has been testing scramjet prototypes, gradually improving their performance. Unlike earlier fighter jets, these advanced aircraft wouldn't just fly high, they could briefly leave Earth's atmosphere. By reaching altitudes above 100 kilometers, they could enter a suborbital path, skipping across the upper atmosphere like a stone across water. This would allow them to strike targets with almost no warning, conduct surveillance from altitudes beyond the reach of anti-aircraft weapons, and even deploy small satellites to restore communications in combat zones. The United States military has been quietly funding this research for years. DARPA has been working on airspace transition vehicles since 2020, focusing on designs that can move between the atmosphere and space without rockets or launch pads. But breaking into space creates new risks. Outside Earth's atmosphere, cosmic radiation can damage electronics and pose health risks to pilots. Engineers are developing shielding and radiation-resistant computer systems to keep these aircraft safe. Fuel is another challenge. Traditional jets can refuel mid-air, but space-capable aircraft need an energy source powerful enough to push them beyond most of Earth's gravity and still bring them back safely. Advanced hydrogen propulsion is one possible solution, providing high energy output with only water as a byproduct. The race to develop this technology is already underway. China is rapidly increasing its hypersonic research budget, while Russia's PAKDP program is working on similar aircraft. Any country that masters space-capable fighters will gain a major military advantage. This also raises legal questions. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty bans nuclear weapons in space, but doesn't address conventional weapons or temporary military operations beyond Earth's atmosphere. This loophole has sparked new debates at the United Nations about the future of space warfare. Even the best pilots would need entirely new training for these aircraft. At hypersonic speeds, decisions must be made in milliseconds, too fast for human reaction times. AI assistance and augmented reality systems would have to predict and respond to problems before they happen. The Air Force is already preparing for this future. Specialized bases are being upgraded to support these hybrid airspace vehicles, with reinforced hangars, advanced cooling systems, and specialized fuel storage facilities built to handle the extreme demands of hypersonic flight. While sixth-generation fighters represent the future of modern warfare, these seventh-generation space fighters are something entirely different. The line between science fiction and military reality is disappearing fast. What once seemed impossible is now just a matter of time. As these jets push the limits of technology, the big question is, who or what will be in the pilot's seat? Behind closed doors in high-tech labs across America, engineers have been building the brains of future warplanes long before a single piece of metal is cut. Before these next-generation fighters take shape, their artificial intelligence is already training in virtual battles against the world's best pilots. AI is no longer just a co-pilot, it is being designed to take over entirely. What began as basic autopilot and warning systems soon expanded to flight guidance and real-time threat analysis. Now, cutting-edge AI can autonomously execute complex combat missions, making split-second decisions faster than any human pilot. A breakthrough came with the Pentagon's Project Maven. Launched in 2017, it began by teaching AI to recognize objects in drone footage. Over time, the system evolved to track multiple moving targets, even through clouds, smoke, and electronic interference. The next generation of warplanes will look unlike anything seen before. There will be no cockpits or instrument panels, just advanced processors, cooling systems, and AI-powered decision-making packed inside a sleek, high-speed airframe. These aircraft will be more like flying supercomputers than traditional jets, controlling weapons, sensors, and engines with machine intelligence. The way these planes are built is also changing. In factories across Nevada and California, massive 3D metal printers are already shaping experimental aircraft parts. These machines create complex designs layer by layer, using titanium and carbon fiber, making structures that were previously impossible with older manufacturing methods. This advancement accelerates production at an unprecedented rate. In the past, developing and testing a new design could take several years, involving extensive prototyping, manual adjustments, and countless trial and error phases. Now, with advanced automation and AI-driven simulations, the entire process can be streamlined, reducing development time to just weeks. Engineers can rapidly iterate designs, test performance in virtual environments, and refine prototypes with real-time data, allowing for faster innovation and deployment. Engineers feed designs into simulations where AI runs countless virtual test flights, refining the aircraft before a real one is built. Only the best designs move forward, ensuring each new fighter is an improvement over the last. Military planners see an opportunity in this rapid development cycle. Instead of producing hundreds of identical jets that risk becoming outdated, they can create smaller batches that evolve over time. Each generation learns from the last, making the fleet smarter and more adaptable. Another breakthrough is the concept of smart skin. Instead of mounting separate radar and sensors, the entire surface of these aircraft will be covered in tiny sensors, turning the whole plane into a flying surveillance system. Traditional jets have blind spots, these will have none, detecting threats from all directions and instantly sharing that data with other AI-powered aircraft. This real-time connection gives AI-controlled jets a major edge. Multiple fighters can operate as a single intelligent unit, responding to threats as a team. Smaller, unmanned drone fighters, built at a fraction of the cost, can fly alongside, carrying extra weapons, scouting ahead, or even sacrificing themselves to protect the primary aircraft. But with AI-driven warfare, ethical concerns grow. Military rules state that a human must have meaningful control over combat decisions. Yet at hypersonic speeds, human reaction time simply cannot match AI decision-making measured in microseconds. The Navy has formed an advisory board to address these concerns, ensuring AI follows rules of engagement and minimizes unnecessary harm. However, programming a machine to understand restraint and proportionality remains an unsolved challenge. Technical hurdles also remain. AI-driven aircraft require immense computing power, generating extreme heat. Scientists are exploring quantum computing and advanced cooling systems to keep these machines running efficiently. And while AI has mastered strategy games like chess, aerial combat is far more unpredictable. Training AI pilots in massive simulation environments is key to sharpening their combat skills. The combination of rapid manufacturing and AI autonomy is reshaping aerial warfare. The nation that perfects this technology first will gain an overwhelming advantage, one where warplanes don't just fly, but learn, adapt, and improve with every mission. Even the most advanced fighter jet loses its edge if the enemy spots it from miles away. But what if these new warplanes could completely disappear even from human sight? The most surprising thing about the next generation of fighter jets isn't what they have, it's what they don't. The familiar vertical tails that have defined military aircraft for over a century are gone. Sharp edges and visible engine intakes are missing too. Instead, these jets have a smooth, flowing shape that looks strange to experienced pilots. With soft edges and no clear front or back from certain angles, the design defies traditional aerodynamics and stability rules. It resembles a flying triangle more than a conventional aircraft. This groundbreaking transformation is the result of decades of advancements in stealth technology. The first-generation stealth aircraft, such as the F-117 Nighthawk, relied on angular surfaces to scatter radar signals. The B-2 Spirit bomber improved upon this by incorporating smooth curved contours to further reduce detectability. Today, the most advanced designs push the boundaries even further, striving for near-total invisibility to enemy radar systems. Older planes needed vertical tails for stability, but those tails made them easy radar targets. Engineers replaced them with an advanced flow control system originally tested on the B-2. Instead of stabilizers, hundreds of tiny air jets adjust the aircraft's balance in real time. A computer makes constant corrections, ensuring smooth flight without traditional control surfaces. The aircraft's skin also enhances stealth. Radar-absorbing materials are built directly into the structure, making them more durable than older coatings that wore off. Some sections even contain carbon nanotube layers that absorb radar signals and release the energy as harmless heat. Heat detection is another challenge. Fighter jet engines produce extreme heat, making them easy targets for infrared sensors. New designs cool the exhaust before it leaves the aircraft, then spread the remaining heat over a wider area, reducing their infrared signature. This makes it harder for heat-seeking missiles to lock on. Beyond stealth, these jets are built for adaptability. Older fighters were rigidly designed, meaning upgrading one system often required redesigning the entire aircraft. The new generation features modular components, allowing engineers to swap out weapons, sensors, and avionics quickly without major overhauls. This approach cuts costs and extends the aircraft's lifespan, Instead of waiting years for a completely new model, militaries can upgrade existing jets in weeks. Experts estimate this could reduce costs by 30 to 40% compared to today's most advanced fighters. For radar operators, detecting these aircraft is becoming nearly impossible. Older stealth jets had radar signatures the size of a small bird. Today's fighters appear smaller than a marble. The goal is to become virtually invisible to radar altogether. Even spotting these jets with the naked eye is difficult. Adaptive camouflage panels on their surface can change color to blend with the sky or terrain below. While not true invisibility, this makes them extremely hard to track visually, especially from a distance. Every aspect of these jets is built for real-world combat. Critical areas are reinforced to withstand damage, maintenance access points are easier to reach, and vital systems have built-in backups. These improvements come directly from lessons learned in modern warfare. Stealth technology has always been a cat-and-mouse game. As enemy sensors evolve, stealth aircraft must adapt. With flexible designs and cutting-edge technology, these new jets are built to stay ahead, ensuring dominance in future battles. As America leads in stealth tech, others race to catch up. How did a marketing move spark a trillion-dollar power struggle? The idea of fighter jet generations didn't start with military strategists or aviation pioneers. It was a marketing move by Lockheed Martin. In the early 2000s, the company needed a way to make its new F-35 fighter stand out. The solution they came up with was to call it fifth generation, making everything else seem outdated. The term caught on. Soon, military officials, journalists, and analysts worldwide adopted the classification. Older jets were retroactively sorted into generations. The Korean War-era F-86 Sabre became first generation, the Vietnam-era F-4 Phantom was third generation, and Europe's Eurofighter Typhoon landed in the fourth generation category. What began as a sales tactic reshaped global defense strategy. Countries now felt pressured to keep up. When China unveiled its J-20 in 2011, state media repeatedly emphasized one point. It was China's first fifth-generation fighter. The message was clear. China had joined an exclusive club previously limited to the United States and Russia. India accelerated its fifth-generation program. Japan prioritized acquiring such capabilities. South Korea launched an ambitious effort to build its own next-generation fighter instead of buying from abroad. This marketing-driven shift overlooked an important fact. Before generational labels took hold, countries evaluated fighters by their capabilities, not arbitrary classifications. The French Rafale and Swedish Gripen featured advanced technologies that rivaled early fifth-generation jets. Yet they were dismissed as merely 4.5 generation. The United States officially moved towards sixth-generation fighters in 2014 with DARPA's Air Dominance Initiative, securing nearly $1 billion in early funding. By 2020, the Air Force confirmed that a demonstrator had already flown successfully, pushing rivals to accelerate their programs. China responded by reorganizing its aerospace sector, pouring funds into AI and advanced materials research. Satellite images soon revealed remote test sites where experimental aircraft could fly unobserved. Despite economic struggles, Russia pressed forward with its PAKDP program to replace the aging MiG-31. Officials highlighted its planned ability to operate at extreme altitudes, an apparent counter to United States' interest in space-capable fighters. European nations, unable to match these investments alone, formed cooperative ventures. The UK-led Tempest project partnered with Italy and Sweden, while France, Germany, and Spain joined forces on the Future Combat Air System. Both programs aim to maintain European defense independence rather than rely on American jets. Historically, new fighter generations emerge every 10 to 15 years. Now, the leap from fifth to sixth generation may take 25 to 30 years due to rising costs and complexity. Seventh-generation concepts might not enter service until the 2070s, marking the longest development cycle in fighter history. Meanwhile, the B-52 bomber offers a different approach. First deployed in 1955, it has been continuously upgraded and could serve for a century, proving that evolution sometimes beats revolution. Lockheed Martin, which started this generational race, continues teasing the future. At its Skunk Works 80th anniversary, a mystery aircraft appeared alongside historic designs like the U-2 an SR-71, potentially America's next fighter. With future programs expected to cost hundreds of billions, international collaboration is now essential. What began as a marketing ploy has reshaped global military aviation, making generational labels a defining factor in national security and defense spending.
Picture a dramatic scene unfolding on the vast expanse of the ocean. Russian Navy ships cautiously navigating waters, encircled by the colossal silhouettes of U.S. aircraft carriers. The air crackles with tension, each vessel a floating fortress of military might. But in this high-stakes game of maritime chess, the unexpected lurks just beneath the surface. What unseen forces brought these giants of the sea to this tense standoff? And what extraordinary twist of fate turned this confrontation into a tale that defies imagination? Join us as we delve into the captivating tale of what happens when these titans of the sea clash and fate intervenes. The Pentagon started tracking 4 Russian warships as they crossed the Atlantic Ocean for a naval exercise. These ships carried out live fire exercises, which were meant to mimic an attack on enemy vessels. When the Russian warships entered the port of Havana, it brought back memories of the Cuban Missile Crisis in October 1962. This was a tense and dangerous standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War, marking the closest the two superpowers ever came to nuclear conflict. The Cuban Missile Crisis was unique in many ways. It involved careful calculations, mistakes, direct and secret communications, and misunderstandings between the two nations. This high-stakes drama mostly unfolded at the highest levels of government, with President Kennedy and Soviet leader Khrushchev directly involved, while the usual foreign policy bureaucracies played a minimal role. After the failed Bay of Pigs invasion, where the U.S. tried to overthrow Fidel Castro's regime, the Kennedy administration was planning Operation Mongoose to further disrupt Cuba. In July 1962, Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev secretly agreed with Cuban Premier Fidel Castro to place Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba as a deterrent against future U.S. invasion attempts. Construction of these missile sites began in late summer, but U.S. intelligence soon spotted a general buildup of Soviet arms in Cuba, including IL-28 bombers, during routine surveillance flights. On September 4, 1962, President Kennedy publicly warned against the introduction of offensive weapons into Cuba. Despite this warning, on October 14th, a U.S. U-2 spy plane took photos clearly showing the construction of medium-range and intermediate-range ballistic missile sites in Cuba. These images were processed and presented to the White House the next day, triggering the Cuban Missile Crisis. President Kennedy called together his closest advisors to decide on a course of action. Some advisors, including all the Joint Chiefs of Staff, pushed for an airstrike to destroy the missiles, followed by an invasion of Cuba. Others favored issuing strong warnings to Cuba and the Soviet Union. Kennedy chose a middle path. On October 22nd, he ordered a naval quarantine of Cuba. The term quarantine was used instead of blockade to avoid the legal implications of a state of war and to gain support from the Organization of American States. That same day, Kennedy sent a letter to Khrushchev, declaring that the U.S. would not allow offensive weapons to be delivered to Cuba and demanding the dismantling of the missile sites. This letter marked the beginning of a series of direct and indirect communications between the White House and the Kremlin. Kennedy also addressed the nation on television, informing the public about the situation in Cuba, his decision to enforce a quarantine, and the potential global consequences if the crisis escalated. His message was stern and echoed the Monroe Doctrine, warning that any nuclear missile launched from Cuba against any nation in the Western Hemisphere would be considered an attack by the Soviet Union, requiring a full retaliatory response. Now, in a bold statement, Vladimir Putin has issued a stark warning to the United States, highlighting the significant threat posed by Russia's vast nuclear arsenal. He emphasized that Russian warships have come dangerously close to what he calls the point of no returns, a term underscoring the gravity of the situation. According to Putin, Western efforts to inflict a strategic defeat on Russia demonstrate a dangerous level of recklessness. This declaration is particularly noteworthy as it coincided with a meeting of G7 leaders, including President Biden, in Italy. The agenda included plans to provide Ukraine with financial aid using confiscated Russian assets, a move that has infuriated Putin. He described this action as theft and vowed that the Western states would face repercussions. Ironically, experts argue that Russia doesn't even have a proper fleet. Just 2 years ago, no one believed Ukraine could withstand Russia's military power. Yet here we are in 2024, with Ukraine's fierce resistance proving all the skeptics wrong. Despite being significantly outmatched, Ukraine has managed to defend its sovereignty and push back against Russian forces, showcasing extraordinary courage against overwhelming odds. Russian naval forces were among the most formidable challenges Ukraine faced. However, through innovative strategies, resourcefulness, and international assistance, Ukraine has effectively challenged Russian naval dominance in the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. Saying that Ukraine contested Russia's naval dominance might even be an understatement considering recent developments. Need a hint? On March 22, 2022, a Russian Raptor-class vessel was hit by a Ukrainian anti-tank guided missile, causing the high-speed coastal patrol boat to be swiftly towed away. On March 24, 2022, an Alligator-class landing ship called Saratov, docked in Berdyansk, Ukraine, caught fire. The Ukrainian Navy claimed responsibility, reporting the attack was carried out using short-range OTR-21 Tochka tactical ballistic missiles. Russia confirmed the ship was towed from the area, but gave no details about the cause of the fire. Notably, the Russian Navy had only 3 of these Cold War-era ships in active service, so this successful targeting represented a significant blow to Russia's naval capabilities. In the following days, 2 other Russian ships, the Tsezar Kunikov and the Novocherkassk, docked nearby, also fled the area under similar circumstances, fire and smoke engulfing their decks. On April 13, 2022, one of Ukraine's biggest wins in the naval theater occurred: the sinking of the Slava-class guided missile cruiser Moskva, the flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet. The Moskva, leading the naval assault during Russia's invasion of Ukraine, played a crucial role in the amphibious assault on Snake Island. As one of the most powerful and iconic warships in the region, its destruction was a major blow to Russia. The honor of sinking the Moskva went to 2 Neptune anti-ship missiles launched from the Crimean coast. After a massive explosion and subsequent fire, the Moskva sank a day later while being towed away, taking at least 18 sailors down with it. Some reports suggest the death toll was significantly higher. The symbolic destruction of the Moskva, named after Russia's capital, was a huge morale boost for Ukraine. Early May 2022 brought no relief to the Russian Navy. The Ukrainian forces continued their relentless attacks, causing significant damage to more Russian vessels, further challenging Russia's naval presence in the region. Ukrainian Bayraktar TB2 drones took out 4 more Raptor-class patrol boats, significantly impacting the Russian fleet, which only had about 16 of these boats to begin with. This means Ukraine eliminated over 30% of Russia's Raptors in just over a month. In the second attack, 3 boats were completely destroyed, while the 4th was damaged and towed to Sevastopol for repairs. Additionally, a BK-16 high-speed assault boat, one of only 12 in Russia's arsenal, sank near Snake Island. On May 7, 2022, the Bayraktar TB2 drones continued their successful campaign in the Black Sea by damaging a Cerna-class landing craft stationed on Snake Island. Then, on June 17, 2022, the Bayan M-class corvette Veliki Ustyug, which had previously participated in Russia's invasion of Ukraine, was seen being towed away across the Volga River in a dire state. This corvette, part of Russia's naval modernization efforts, was one of 20 in service and is now rendered inoperable by Ukraine. That same day, Ukraine also reported sinking the Russian rescue tug Vasily Bek, which was built to tow distressed ships, supply water and electricity to other vessels, evacuate injured personnel, and fight fires at sea. The Vasily Bek was hit by 2 Harpoon missiles provided by Denmark. On October 29, 2022, Ukraine's use of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, struck again, this time targeting the Natya-class minesweeper Ivan Golubets in Sevastopol and damaging the Soviet-era vessel. However, the most significant strike that day was against the Admiral Grigorovich-class frigate Admiral Makarov. This vessel, which had become the new flagship of the Black Sea Fleet after the Moskva's sinking, was hit by at least one drone, reportedly disabling its radar. Admiral Makarov had also played a role in the invasion, launching cruise missiles at a Ukrainian oil refinery and fuel depots in Odessa, terrorizing the local population. Although the Russian Navy claimed the damage was minor, the frigate was out of commission until August 2023, leaving one of Russia's most advanced ships inactive for 10 months. A significant victory for Ukraine. On August 4, 2023, a coordinated effort between the Security Service of Ukraine and the Ukrainian Navy dealt a significant blow to the Russian Navy near the port of Novorossiysk, approximately 260 miles east of Sevastopol. The target was the Rapucha-class landing ship named Olenogorsky Gornyak, one of Russia's 15 most critical vessels of this type, on loan from the Northern Fleet at the time. Although the Olenogorsky Gornyak wasn't sunk, it suffered severe damage that prompted a notable shift in naval operations. Following the attack, Ukrainian reports indicated Russian ships leaving the port and dispersing throughout the Black Sea. Moving forward to September 13, 2023, Ukraine launched a daring nighttime raid on Sevastopol. Sukhoi Su-24 supersonic bombers were instrumental in targeting two significant Russian vessels: the improved Kilo-class attack submarine Rostov-na-Donu and another Rapucha-class landing ship named Minsk. Both ships were struck by Storm Shadow missiles, resulting in the visible destruction of Minsk and rendering Rostov-na-Donu irreparably damaged, despite Russian intentions to return them to full operational status. Complicating matters further, the Ukrainian raid also inflicted substantial damage on Sevastopol's dry dock repair facilities, hindering Russia's ability to swiftly repair its naval assets. The same attack on September 13th saw the sinking of a Tunets-class patrol boat. On September 24, 2023, Ukraine resumed its use of naval drones, damaging the Project 22160 patrol ship Sergei Kotov. Although this attack didn't sink the ship, Ukraine achieved success on March 5, 2024, when Magurafev 5 maritime drones finally sank Sergei Kotov off the Crimean coast, marking the third notable sinking by Ukraine in 2024. February 2024 introduced another grim chapter in the Russo-Ukrainian naval conflict, as evidenced on February 1, 2024, when one of Russia's Tarantul-class corvettes, Ivanovets, was reportedly sunk in Donuslav, Crimea, by Magurafev 5 maritime drones. The ship's magazine detonated as it sank, resulting in a dramatic series of explosions, a fitting end for the Ivanovets. Continuing this trend, on February 14, 2024, Ukraine successfully targeted and finished off another vessel previously damaged in March 2022, further asserting its naval prowess in the ongoing conflict. The fate of the large Rapucha I-class landing ship Cesar Kunikov mirrored that of its counterpart, Novocherkassk, but with confirmation from Russian sources due to Ukrainian footage verifying its sinking. The grainy and black and white video depicts a Magura V-5 drone zipping swiftly across nighttime waters, resembling an elegant speedboat. In a dramatic showdown similar to David and Goliath, this small drone strikes the 370-foot-long behemoth, triggering a spectacular explosion. The footage captures Cesar Kunikov listing to its side before descending into the depths, carrying approximately 70 crew members. The aftermath of this incident was profound. Putin dismissed Black Sea Fleet Commander Admiral Viktor Sokolov, who was replaced promptly by Vice Admiral Sergei Pinchuk. This move underscored the severity of Ukraine's successful attacks on the Black Sea Fleet. A month later, Admiral Nikolai Yevmenov, Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Navy, also faced replacement, highlighting the strategic shakeup in response to Ukrainian military actions. Fast forward to March 23, 2024, when a Ukrainian missile strike damaged the Yuri Ivanov-class intelligence ship Ivan Kurs during an assault on Sevastopol. This ship had previously been targeted by Ukrainian drones in May 2023, marking a sustained campaign against it. Ivan Kurs plays a critical role for Russian forces, equipped with radar warning receivers and electronic surveillance devices, crucial for locating Ukrainian radars and missile installations along the Black Sea coast. Protecting this equipment is pivotal for Ukraine to maintain its defensive capabilities against Russian aerial and naval threats. The Kommuna, the Russian Navy's oldest operational ship, became the target on April 21, 2024, struck by an anti-ship missile in Sevastopol, though the extent of the damage remains undisclosed. Continuing their effective use, on May 6, 2024, Magurov-5 naval drones destroyed a Mangust-class patrol boat, valued at $3 million, used for search and rescue operations and countering subversive activities. When you add up all these attacks, it's evident why reports are celebrating the Ukrainian forces for taking down an impressive 25% of Russian ships in the Black Sea. Not bad for a country that doesn't even have a navy, right? There's even talk that Russian vessels are abandoning the Black Sea altogether, sparking hope that Ukraine might reclaim Crimea after a decade. Ukrainian Captain Dmytro Pletenchuk points out that only one loser missile ship remains in the Black Sea now. These remarkable achievements stem from Ukraine's bold and innovative asymmetric warfare tactics against a stronger but risk-averse and unimaginative opponent. Ukraine continues to devise new methods to sink Russian ships, and clearly, these methods have proven highly effective. But can Russia simply replace the ships Ukraine destroys? Historically known for its robust military-industrial complex and vast resources, Russia's situation has changed dramatically since the invasion of Ukraine. The country has mobilized fully, politically, industrially, and militarily, at a great, both figurative and literal, cost. This mobilization has drained resources that the Kremlin cannot easily replenish. Moreover, each naval vessel requires significant time and investment, both of which Russia is rapidly depleting. Even basic military supplies like shells and ammunition are being used up faster than they can be replaced. Adding to these challenges, Russian shipbuilders are facing shortages of critical engine parts, severely limiting their ability to produce new ships. Could Russia relocate existing ships from other fleets to fill the gaps? In theory, yes. However, in practice, this plan faces a major hurdle: Turkey. The dynamics in the Black Sea have shifted dramatically due to the Ukraine conflict, giving Turkey considerable leverage in the region. Under Article 19 of the Montreux Convention, which governs passage through the Bosporus and Dardanelles Straits, Turkey has closed these crucial waterways to military vessels not based in the Black Sea. This effectively blocks other Russian fleets from coming to the aid of the Black Sea Fleet in times of need. US officials have commended Turkey's decision, seeing it as a significant boost to Ukraine's security. However, there remains a lingering question. How has the United States responded to the presence of Russian vessels near Havana? Despite initially downplaying any potential threat posed by these ships as they approached, the US has taken proactive measures. This was highlighted by the United States Naval Institute, USNI, on June 11, 2024, which reported on Russia's missile tests in the Atlantic. According to USNI, the US has stationed ship spotters along its coast to closely monitor Russian activities. Additionally, the US has dispatched several of its ships, including 3 guided missile destroyers, to survey the Russian fleet. Complementing these efforts is the deployment of a P-8A Poseidon anti-submarine aircraft, specifically tasked with countering the presence of the Kazan nuclear submarine. This demonstrates a robust response aimed at matching and neutralizing any potential threats should the Russian ships deviate from their stated training objectives. A day after the USNI report, the UK's Daily Mail noted that American ships positioned themselves just off the US coastline as the Russian flotilla approached within 25 miles of Florida. The Royal Canadian Navy also joined in by deploying the HMCS Ville de Quebec, a Halifax-class frigate, to support the monitoring operation alongside the US. This coordinated effort underscores America's vigilance in closely monitoring the situation. But what if a worst-case scenario unfolds? What if Russia opts to launch an attack or engage in aggressive actions during its naval exercises? To answer these concerns, we must examine both the capabilities of Russia's vessels and the resources deployed by the United States in response. Among Russia's flotilla, the rescue tug and fleet oil tanker play supportive roles, but lack the firepower for direct naval combat. The focal points for potential conflict would likely be the Admiral Gorshkov and the Kazan submarine. The Admiral Gorshkov, the lead vessel of Russia's new Gorshkov-class multi-role frigates, commenced construction in 2005. It represents Russia's ambitious effort to modernize its naval capabilities amid America's significantly superior navy. Measuring approximately 426 feet and crewed by 200 personnel, the Admiral Gorshkov boasts formidable weaponry. Equipped with 3D air search radars, it can detect incoming aircraft and potentially intercept anti-ship missiles. Its arsenal includes a 130 mm gun mount and a 30 mm close-in weapon system, designed to defend against aerial threats with precision. Speaking of missiles, Admiral Gorshkov is armed with 8 of Russia's SS-NX-26 Yakhont cruise missiles, specialized for ship-to-ship combat against any type of naval surface vessel. These missiles are highly potent, boasting a range of 186 miles and offering a choice between a 440-pound explosive warhead or a more powerful 551-pound semi-armor piercing warhead. These capabilities make them formidable against smaller ships, especially enhanced by improvements made in 2002 with imaging infrared and active radar seekers, ensuring high accuracy. What's more, these missiles achieve speeds up to Mach 2.2, making them extremely difficult to intercept. But that's not all. The Admiral Gorshkov is also equipped with the Medvedka II anti-submarine warfare system, 21-inch torpedo tubes, and the Hurricane surface-to-air missile defense system. Not to mention its BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles, capable of delivering a 660-pound warhead over distances up to 180 miles. Additionally, there's the Zircon anti-ship cruise missile, a hypersonic weapon reportedly capable of flying at 9 times the speed of sound, with a range of about 620 miles and advanced radar seekers. These impressive armaments highlight Admiral Gorshkov's capabilities on paper, showcasing some of Russia's most advanced naval technologies. But how would the U.S. destroyers, such as the USS Donald Cook reportedly monitoring Gorshkov, fare in a direct confrontation? The USS Donald Cook, commissioned in 1998, measures 505 feet in length, making it larger than the Admiral Gorshkov. It accommodates a larger crew of 330 enlisted sailors and up to 26 officers at full capacity. While specifics on which destroyers are deployed were not fully disclosed by USNI, the presence of USS Donald Cook, as reported by the Daily Mail, suggests a robust American response. In a head-to-head scenario, the odds slightly favor the USS Donald Cook due to its size and potentially greater firepower. However, the outcome of any naval engagement would depend on numerous factors, including tactics, crew training, and the operational context in which such a confrontation might occur. The Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer is a formidable warship, equipped with an array of weaponry that would make it a significant threat to Admiral Gorshkov. At its heart is the Mk-41 vertical launching system, capable of deploying a variety of missiles suitable for any combat scenario: anti-aircraft, anti-submarine, anti-surface, and ballistic missiles. This versatility allows the destroyer to effectively counter both the Admiral Gorshkov and the Kazan submarine. In terms of its missile arsenal, the USS Donald Cook carries vertical launch anti-submarine rocket missiles, each with a range of 10 miles and a high explosive warhead weighing nearly 97 pounds. Additionally, it is equipped with Tomahawk and Harpoon missiles. The Harpoon missiles, which would likely be used against Admiral Gorshkov, can travel up to 149 miles and carry a substantial payload of 493 pounds. Although not as fast as the hypersonic missiles on Admiral Gorshkov, these missiles are powerful and can be launched in multiple salvos. Further enhancing its capabilities, The USS Donald Cook is armed with a Mk-45 5-inch lightweight gun, Mk-46 torpedoes, two 25mm machine guns, and the Phalanx close-in weapon system for defense against incoming threats. While Admiral Gorshkov boasts the Zircon hypersonic missile, capable of incredible speeds that challenge traditional defenses, the presence of 3 U.S. destroyers monitoring the Russian flotilla ensures redundancy and overwhelming force if needed. Even if one destroyer were to be overwhelmed, the others could swiftly respond, demonstrating the USS capability to project power effectively. Moving to the Kazan submarine, also known as the Yasin-M, represents a significant leap in Russia's submarine technology. As the second vessel in Russia's Yasin class, introduced in 2009, it features numerous upgrades that distinguish it as a leading asset in Russia's submarine fleet. The Royal United Services Institute describes it as the future of Russia's submarine force, highlighting its advanced capabilities aimed at showcasing Russia's naval prowess to the United States. The Kazan is a nuclear-powered cruise missile submarine capable of launching a variety of anti-ship and land attack missiles. These include the 3M-22 Zircon hypersonic missile, similar to that of Admiral Gorshkov, and the UKSK vertical launch system, equipped with 8 SM-346 modules. Each module can house significant armaments, such as 4 P-800 Onyx anti-ship missiles or 5 3M-54-1 caliber missiles, both renowned for their destructive capabilities. The P-800 missiles are variations of the SS-NX-26 Yakont cruise missiles, boasting similar range and firepower capabilities. On the other hand, the 3M-54-1 caliber, an anti-ship missile, can travel up to 186 miles and carries a formidable 3 461-pound warhead. Complementing these armaments are 10 533mm torpedo tubes for UGST-M wire-guided torpedoes, along with 6 324mm torpedo launchers, enhancing the submarine's defensive capabilities. The Kazan submarine, powered by a 4th-generation KTP-6 nuclear reactor, is renowned for its stealth, believed to be the quietest in the Russian fleet. Teamed with Admiral Gorshkov, it represents a potent combination in Putin's strategy to showcase Russia's naval modernization efforts. However, could the Kazan withstand an assault from the ships and aircraft deployed by the US to monitor Russia's flotilla? The odds seem slim. The USS Donald Cook, alongside other destroyers, is equipped with anti-submarine defense systems that could effectively counter the Kazan's capabilities. Even if the Kazan were to successfully strike one destroyer, launching any missiles could expose its position to subsequent attacks from other U.S. naval assets. Consider the P-8A Poseidon, officially a maritime patrol and reconnaissance aircraft, but also proficient in anti-submarine warfare. With a crew of 9, it cruises at speeds around 560 miles per hour, enabling it to cover vast ocean areas. Enhanced by advanced surveillance systems like the MX-20 HD sensor turrets and AN/APY-10 maritime radar, the P-8A excels in detecting submarines. Its arsenal includes free-fall bombs, depth charges, air-to-surface missiles, and the Mk-54 torpedo, ideal for engaging both surface vessels and submarines. Even operating independently, the P-8A poses a significant threat to Kazan and Admiral Gorshkov. Coupled with the 3 U.S. destroyers, each capable of neutralizing submarines and frigates, the P-8A contributes to both reconnaissance and offensive support roles. This formidable naval presence underscores the United States' preparedness to counter any potential threats posed by Russia's maneuvers near its coast. Perhaps this explains Major Dietz's assertion that the Russian ships do not pose a direct threat to the United States. While on the surface, it acknowledges routine military exercises. It also subtly asserts the U.S. Navy's supremacy over Russian naval capabilities. Yet, Putin's objectives extend beyond power projection. Forging stronger ties with Cuba and Venezuela through joint naval exercises sends a clear message to the U.S. about Russia's influence in its own hemisphere. Russia's historical ties with Cuba, despite periodic strains since the Soviet era, remain robust, as evidenced by recent high-level meetings aimed at enhancing economic and energy cooperation. Positioned just over 200 miles from Miami, Cuba's proximity underscores its strategic importance in Russia's geopolitical maneuvers. The joint naval exercises not only signify military collaboration, but also signal to the U.S. that Russia has a dependable ally close to its borders, capable of hosting and supporting Russian naval operations. What do you anticipate the result would be if the Russian and American navies were to confront each other? Let us know your opinion in the comments below.